welcome you and your classmates to this day where we have a group of really esteemed leaders and speakers that are here for an invitation. And that invitation is to a wake-up call. And so these leaders that we have in the area of climate change really will help us to answer that call. Learn from them, engage with them. Don't be afraid to, ask questions and interact in the breakout sessions. Say what you want to say, get involved with what you want to do.
Because we are young, we're told we're unwise, unfit for the challenge, and that we're asking for unrealistic changes to the processes hurting our environments. We're treated as if we all don't share the same planet that is negatively impacted every minute by human behavior, as adults are making long-term decisions that endanger life on Earth. It seems to me that the only truly unrealistic demands are those to maintain the status quo of industry, a tacit acceptance that we are producing greenhouse gases far beyond the limit of our planet's equilibrium, and allowing ecosystems that we depend on now and that will continue to depend on to crumble right in front of us. I'm thankful that your desire to address climate change has been recognized by your teachers, schools, and parents, because it allows us to finally have a discussion about the health of the planet as a group of high school students and be taken seriously. As youth, maybe our demands for climate action are idealistic, but how else do we start working for change? Sometimes these seemingly unrealistic goals can help us determine the pragmatic actions to take in response to the climate crisis. Events like today help reveal the specific actions that we can take, but the larger interest in making an effective impact has brought youth together for this discussion globally. Each amendment we make to our personal actions has a rippling impact. By taking action in our own lives, through simple adjustments of our product consumption habits, our advocacy, our voting, we are forging a new path for humanity. Let's take an untrodden path, treading lightly as we go, into a sustainable future. We have exhausted the path of fossil fuels and carbon emissions, and with collaborative action, we can steer onto a new road. Unfortunately, there's no one who can walk this new path for us. We are the leaders of tomorrow, and honestly, we've become the leaders of today. There's no doubt that it's going to be hard to significantly reduce carbon emissions. However, we have the knowledge and the tools to shift to renewable energy and sustainable practices. We must realize that if we don't take action, the problem perpetuates. When it comes to the climate crisis, apathy is not the lack of a decision, but it is the most dangerous decision we can make right now. As long as the status quo persists, so will the destruction of the world's ecology. Instead, we must recognize the emergency that is all around us, that the Earth's ecosystems need intensive care. So, how does today play into finding solutions for our planet? We have gathered some of the most influential voices in the Michigan narrative of climate change action. Everyone's experiences today will be different, and I hope each one of you can take away what you learn as a guide. We must all consider our role in problem solving, because there isn't one answer to the problem of climate change. No matter what your plans are for the future, don't lose sight of your place in this journey. We are the youth of today who are making the changes for tomorrow. Let's have a wonderful day of learning and then go out and teach the world. Thank you.
I'm happy to introduce our first speaker. Dr. Hoffman is the professor of sustainable enterprise at the University of Michigan in the Ross of Business School and the School for Environment and Sustainability. Dr. Hoffman is a leader in assessing the implications of environmental issues for business and has published 14 books and over 100 articles and chapters on the topic. Prior to academics, Dr. Hoffman worked for the EPA, Metcalfe, and TNT Construction and Design.
The debate is shifting. We are at a very interesting moment right now where the debate over climate change, if you haven't noticed, has grown significantly. It's been happening for about 5 years, but it's amped up in the last 2. And that should give you some hope that we may be able to move through this and actually start to deal with it. And I would also try and give you some hope. Change is happening already. And so you are actually in high school, coming out of high school at a very exciting time. More importantly, people are becoming more and more concerned. This is a survey that Yale University does every year. It's called the Six Americas Study. And they break people into 6 different categories, from alarmed going across to dismissive. and they've been doing it every year since about 2010. They do it in multiple countries. So you can see in 2013, 16% were alarmed, 27% were concerned. 43% of the public alarmed or concerned. On the right, 27% were either doubtful or dismissive. 2019, you can see it's shifted. 57% are now alarmed and concerned, and only 20% are doubtful or dismissive. People who are dismissing science are becoming less and less. Why is it happening? Why are people changing their position? Well, first off, you can see on the survey on the right, the weird weather we're having. The hurricanes, the droughts, the wildfires. This is causing people to change their belief. These are vivid events, and they're happening to people we know. When it happens to Houston, it's a totally different thing than when it happens to Bangladesh. People can typically deny climate change by saying it's going to happen to somebody else, someplace else in the future. It's happening now, it's happening to people I know, it's happening here. Debate starts to shift. Those who are connected to these events believe more likely than those that don't. A second thing that's changing it is you folks, the younger generation. And I want to really impress upon you the power you have in shifting the social discourse on this issue. One of the problems with the environmental movement has been plaguing it since it started. It has no natural constituency. Now we do. Young people. They are aggrieved. It's their future that's going to be impacted. You now have a constituency that says, I'm standing up for what's right, and you are imposing your controls on my future. You are hurting me. And we respond to that as a society. And academics never trust anything unless you have data. So we actually had a paper come out in Nature this past summer. Children can foster climate change concern among their parents. I can sum up this paper in a very simple sentence. Parents love their children. But we need data to prove that's real. Parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, they will listen to you. You don't come with a political axe to grind. You are concerned about your future, and you understand science. And you are shifting the debate. I am 99% sure it will be fundamentally different. One is our forms of mobility. We're shifting now to electrics. We will shift to autonomous vehicles. Will you get in one? Your generation is more likely to. Will people own cars in the future? If they don't, how many cars will there be on the road? If I can call up a car on my cell phone and it shows up to pick me up and I don't own it, we need far fewer cars. At any moment in time, 95% of the automobile fleet is sitting idle. That parking lot out there is wasted resources. Those cars will be gone. That parking lot will be gone. Cities will change. Gas stations will be gone. Everything will be fundamentally different. What will energy look like? Your home may be able to provide its own energy. Solar cells, wind, this building. Maybe cars will have fuel cells in them and you plug your car into the building and run it off the fuel cell. Maybe you'll have a smart home where your appliances, you put your clothes in the dryer. The dryer says, do you need them right now? You say no. It says, okay, the price of energy is going to be cheaper at 2 o'clock in the morning. How about if we run it then? And it will say go. That technology is available right now. Whirlpool is ready to sell them when the market is ready to go. That thermometer up there, a Nest thermostat, how many people have seen one of these? Okay, this is the beginning of the smart home. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. What will energy look like? That device up in the upper right is called a GE Go dashboard. It gives you a real-time display of your water and energy use. And it puts it in dollars, and will start to change behavior. And you'll go on vacation. You'll shut everything out of the house. You'll see you're still drawing power. It's still costing you money. You can say, what's going on? And you're going to learn about phantom loads. And that 60-inch plasma TV that you love so much is using more power turned off than a regular TV uses turned on, because you have to keep the plasma warm for the instant on. And you're going to start to think differently about energy. And it's going to change how we behave. The bottom left. How many people have tried Impossible Meat? It's a pretty good substitute. Beyond Meat had the best IPO last year, initial public offering. The market is really excited about this alternative because the fact is, when we reach 10 billion people, everyone cannot have a T-bone steak every night for dinner. It's just not physically possible. and we need to find other sources of protein. And alternative meat is one, lab-grown meat is another, and insects is a third. There is a $30 million market right now for crickets. You can eat them. They are a viable form of protein, very low impact on the environment. What role do you want to have in making it the world you want it to be? There's an exciting time right now. There's an exciting challenge before you. Embrace it. It can be a fun one, a meaningful one. It can give you a life of purpose. Thank you very much.